Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now listening to That Infernal Noise podcast, part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Fuck yeah. Hello, everyone. We are back again. It's been some time. Life has been lifing. You should expect this from us. To the 5 people that listen, we do this for you. But
the clips do really well.
The clips do. Life has just been lifing, so, we record when we can. We're trying to become better at...
We did good for a while.
We did. But life just kind of got busy. Got really busy, and we just really haven't had a lot of time to sit down and record any content.
Or the mental...
capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we are back, and today I kind of want to talk about how important it is to talk. And I know we do nothing but talk on here, and we've talked about a lot of different topics, and I wanted to talk about how important it is for not only communication, but for there to be understanding and full conversations. Because it's easy to talk to someone, and it's easy to try to... Hold on. Let me explain.
I stopped.
Where I'm coming from. It's easy to say words to someone, but if the person you're trying to say them to isn't understanding you, then you saying what you're saying is not pointless, but more difficult. I understand, because I am one of the people where communication or having hard conversations is really difficult for me. For most of my life, I have not felt emotionally safe enough to say the things I need to say. On top of that, there's been, fear of abandonment. That's trauma. It's all trauma related. But now that I'm to a place where I can be a little more direct with, hey, this is what I need. Hey, this is how things are affecting me. It's a little easier for me to do that now. It has gotten easier for me to say what I need, but it's still hard. And I've been guilty of this too. When you're told something and that wasn't your intent, or that's not what you were meaning behind whatever you did or said, it is easy to take, hey, that didn't make me feel good, as an attack. And it's not. Because you've told me things, and it's just like, well, that's what I wasn't trying to do. And I try to defend myself instead of saying, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That wasn't my intent. And I think by and large, that's the vast majority of everyone's problem. It's that it's so easy to take things personally. I am so guilty of taking...
You take a lot of what I say and do very personally.
I do, and
you know me. I'm not. Whenever it comes to other people, yeah, I'll fucking dig at them. If they piss me off, I just don't care about your feelings.
Fair.
I don't, because I know you don't care about mine, and you're talking shit to hurt my feelings. So whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that with you. I usually assume you're not trying to do that. So I don't purposely do or say things to get under your skin or get a reaction from you.
Biscuit. Sorry, our dog's in here ripping ass, trying to get attention. And that's very true. And I see that. It's just really hard. Sometimes, because a lot of bad stuff has happened to me, so I try not to take things personally, but it's really easy to take things personally because everything kind of seems like a dig. Not just from you, I just mean in general. And I know that the world isn't geared to feel pointed towards me specifically, because the universe is going to do whatever the universe is going to do. The world is going to keep spinning regardless of what I'm doing in a day or how I feel in a day or whatever. But I think something that happens or would help with that is if I become better at, hey, what did you mean by that? That didn't make me feel good. Did you mean to hurt my feel? You know, if I became better at that, I feel that I might become, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Less inclined to take something personally. But when it, even outside of things, when it feels like someone is making an attack on you, even when it's not something like that, of course, if you feel that someone is trying to be mean or dig at you, you should say something. Be like, hey, did you mean that? Not in a attack way. Again, communication doesn't need to be about attacking.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. It should be led with curiosity. Even when you're feeling attacked yourself. Be like, hey, I'm feeling kind of attacked. I don't think that's what you're meaning to do. You know.
Yeah, but how many people do you watch feel like they're attacked and then they just shut down and internalize it until something happens and they just lash the fuck out?
I've been guilty of that. You've been guilty. Everyone's been guilty of that. And that's where you have to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, how would I want someone to handle me if I had been the offender in this?
But that's also assuming that the people are going to put the same energy towards you that you would put towards them. And we just had that conversation earlier.
Fair and valid. There are going to be people who don't.
There's people that just want to misunderstand you.
Right.
Because it doesn't suit their narrative to understand you.
Also,
because
very
then they
fair
have
and
to
valid.
do their own soul searching and take their own self inventory.
Agreed.
And
not a lot of people are doing that.
It does not seem common at this point.
Yes, that's fair and valid. But even outside of those kinds of situations where there needs to be understanding in a situation of, I said this, you said this, my intent wasn't what you thought it was, I'm sorry, outside of like altercations or disagreements or arguments, because there does need to be conversation and understanding and reciprocity in that. But even when things just are not making you feel good in life, in, just every regular day stuff that doesn't necessarily have to be between you and another person. For instance, our youngest, was feeling some kind of way about a test. And he talked to a friend who isn't as into their feelings or emotions as he is.
There's people twice his age that aren't into their feelings the way that he is.
There are a lot of people.
There's people our age that aren't as emotionally intelligent as Logan and Noe are.
Yes, that's very...
And Chris
very,
and Kaylee, for that matter.
Very true. But his friend was just like, okay, you feel sad. All right, I don't care. Basically, I don't care. And it hurt his feelings because, one, we want people to listen to us because the people who listen want to be listened to. But that's also, we also need to let those feelings out because things, fears, anxieties, trauma, everything gets stored in our body. I'm probably butchering simple medical terms. but in the
Fascia.
is it
It's
fascia?
the fascia.
In the tissue, the stringy bits in your muscles. Like
I
if
was
you,
just listening to Mayim's podcast, and they were talking about the fascia and the body keeps score stuff.
Yay! I love that. I love Mayim. Mayim Bialik is. I want to be her best friend. Anyway, so on top of, yes, we do need to learn how to communicate with other people. So there is less moments of feeling attacked. Because it's a curious thing and not a pointed thing, because a lot of people feel that things are pointed. But just to get what is going on in our lives out of our body. Because, yes, we do need to feel our feelings and feel it with our whole body. We need to sit in it. We need to feel it. But we also need to talk about it. And I spent I'm 39. So I've spent 39 years because I'm still working and growing and learning how to say things and notice within myself that things are not good. Recently, was it last night before last, when I talked to you about how I've been feeling?
No, that was
last night?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only reason I know that is because we were watching the pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But I didn't realize something was bothering me. I just knew I wasn't feeling right.
You could talk about it. I don't give a shit.
About a month and a half ago, two months ago, however long ago. So we are dealing with undiagnosed BPD, or that's what we think that you are dealing with.
I don't really think anymore.
I know, but I know that
I don't like throwing it around, but
Yeah.
that I like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
and
never felt more seen and understood than
the BPD
the
community.
BPD community.
That's fair.
Let's just put it that way. So even if it's not, it's so similar that there isn't a difference.
Fair. And you split on me about a month and a half ago, 2 months. I don't remember exactly when it was, but you said some choice shit, and I finally told you to shove it, which is not the best thing to do for somebody who is splitting. Just that is not the way you handle it. And this is the first time I've ever done something like that.
But you also felt comfortable enough to stand up. And
yes.
You haven't had that before.
Right.
So,
but the more
silver lining.
That's fair.
I guess.
But the more we learn and the more we've read, obviously I've learned more tools and things like that. But since that last split, and because of things that were said and things like that, it's been really hard for me mentally to kind of bounce back from it. And I got a vibration plate. TikTok made me buy it. I would buy it again. I would totally buy it again. But anyway, I was talking about the fascia and the muscle, and anything somatic related can release those pent up or stored emotions, traumas, whatever.
The things you haven't processed or let out and whatever.
And I was standing on this vibration plate and I start crying. Because that's what you do when your body has stored trauma or stored anything, It's like you just cry. But our communication skills haven't always been what they were for either one of us. Because we
both had to learn how to communicate.
Right.
Because you shut down
1,000%.
And I would lash out.
Yeah.
Biscuit.
Hi, my darling.
Get down.
I need you to get down, please. Thank you. Good girl. Yeah. If I had said something 10 years ago, like I did last night, it would have turned into a thing.
Yeah, probably.
And even 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have, everything's fine. We're fine. Everything's good. But I think that has been and has been one of the turning points for me as just a human being on letting myself know that it's okay for me to speak up, for me to, because I never try to be disrespectful or demeaning or anything like that in any conversation that I have. And to know that no matter what I'm saying, no matter who I'm saying it to, as long as I come direct and concise and try to leave as much emotion out of it and, you know, stay polite and it's okay for me to talk about stuff. And that has not been my policy. I've been like, no one gives a shit about what I'm feeling. No one cares about how I'm feeling. So I'm just going to keep it to myself because that's how people stay and that's how people love you. It's because you don't say, you keep quiet, you become agreeable, whatever.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Not good. Not good. My body is in shambles because
Well, I mean, how did it work with people not leaving?
Oh, people left anyway. Like, and the people that are meant for you will, at least on some level, want to at least try to understand parts. Because it's, like I said, we haven't always had the perfect communication skills. You haven't.
We had to work at it. We had to work at it.
Oh yeah, we definitely. It's a skill. It's not something that you're just naturally born with. Yes, you learn to speak. Yes, you learn to listen.
Mm-mm.
But to effectively But to effectively communicate, that's a skill that you have to learn. That's a skill you have to work at. Because everyone looks at life from their perspective. So when someone says, you hurt my feelings, that feels like the vast majority of people. I can't speak in absolutes, but generally speaking, people aren't like, okay, they're saying what I did or said hurt their feelings. The vast majority of people say, they're saying I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person because I did blah, 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 blah. And I didn't mean to hurt them.
Maybe you were.
And maybe you were. But that's the thing.
But you have to accept that. Like,
everyone.
I've had to accept so much about myself.
Right.
Through all of this. And I'm not saying I'm better than anyone or what the fuck ever. It's just that's where I've been lately.
Yeah. You've had to acknowledge
I've been confronted with a lot of shit. Interpersonally, meaning you and the kids coming to me or whoever coming to me and saying, this pissed me off, blah, 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 whatever, hurt my feelings, whatever the situation is. And then internally, like, I've had to deal with a lot. There's certain things that I didn't realize were triggers that I'm having to figure out how to navigate at 40-fucking-1 because nobody ever gave me the space to figure those out until now. And even earlier in our relationship, this wouldn't have been able to happen because me trying to figure out myself would have caused problems, and not in the fact that you didn't want to support me, but in the fact that it would start some shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it would just, I couldn't fully speak my mind and tell you everything that was on my mind without you internalizing it and turning it into something.
And of course, me sitting silently and not saying, okay, I see what you're saying, and that doesn't make me feel good. Because my feelings may not make you feel good, and your feelings may not make me feel good.
I don't give a shit anymore.
But they're still valid. Feelings are valid.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I just don't care anymore. Like, I can't continue allowing myself to internalize everything that everybody says negative about me.
That's fair.
Because that's how I ended up this way in the first fucking place.
Also fair.
Like, I took all of that and I turned it into the negative self-talk. And if I stop for a minute and listen to the negative self-talk, I can tell who it came from. Just based on what is going through my head at the time.
Right.
Like, I can hear grandpa. I can hear mom. I can hear her husband. I can hear my ex's friends. Like, I can hear all of them if I really stop and tune into it.
Right.
And it's not fun.
I understand that, because unfortunately the split version of you is in here. And along with, everyone who has said I was weak or not strong enough or too loud, too this, too much. People have not liked my muchness my whole life.
I might be the only one that actually likes it.
Maybe. I think you
I don't know that for sure, but I do. I've always admired that about you. I've told you that too.
Yes.
Like you, I've told you and Gabriel that, because y'all have the similar personalities where y'all are the outgoing, loud, boisterous ones that can get along with everybody, and you don't get crippling anxiety whenever you're trying to talk to somebody.
That's fair.
It just, I've never been like that, and I've always admired that about you.
But I think when you can take a step back and be like, and this is something I'm working on now, where it's like, okay, not everything is an attack. And
I told you the other day, hardly anything nothing I do toward you is an attack ever. Yeah. And that's why I hate it whenever I do split, because it just turns into vitriol for some fucking reason, and it's all aimed at you. And
and the thing is that I do understand where it comes from. I understand 1000% where it comes from. I understand that a lifetime of trauma plus a mental illness, and an undiagnosed mental illness, one that you didn't even know existed until a few years ago.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
And then there's so much that is unknown about this, and there's so much crossover between BPD and so many other...
Autism, ADHD...
So much.
Narcissism.
Like, so much crossover, and it's really hard to pinpoint. But now it is a little... Like, I understand where everything comes from. I understand that the vitriol isn't me. That it is an amalgamation of literally everyone else.
Well, it's not just that.
That has mistreated you. That is
the defense mechanism,
right.
too. Like, I feel threatened.
Your prefrontal cortex,
my nervous system just immediately goes into protect mode.
Yeah, it's fight or flight, and you fight.
I fight. Like, I'm not a flyer. I'm the mother. We've had this discussion a million times. You're the dog that cowers. I'm the one that'll fucking snap back at you. Right. And like, it's not healthy whatsoever. I know that, but it's the only way I knew how to deal with anything for so fucking long. And nobody, until you
asked questions or
not only asked questions, but actually gave a shit to
understand.
Like, why are you doing this? Like, what is the real issue?
Yeah.
And I never did it either, because I didn't know
that. And you were like so many other people, like, this is just who I am. This is just how I react.
This is how life is. And it's not true.
Yeah.
I thought everybody dealt with the same shit that I deal with. And come to find out, that's not fucking true.
Yeah. And that's
and it's not saying that nobody understands what the fuck I'm going through or anything like that. It's just
the masses don't.
In general, people don't even know what that is.
Right.
They assume bipolar, and it's more than that.
It's not more than that.
It's different than that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by so much more, because there's so much. It's not just a high or a low. It's literally your body going into fight or flight mode when you split. Like you were just saying, it is.
Because I don't get depressed and stay in bed all day. I get depressed that I get pissed.
Yeah.
And then I'll burn down everything.
Right.
And based on the conversations we've had, going back to the topic of talking, it really helped me figure out who I am in those moments. And I'm the pissed off teenager that I don't know how to parent. I figured out how to parent my younger self, my kid self.
It's easy to gentle parent.
Not for me, it wasn't. I've really had to struggle with that, and I don't like admitting that, but it has been a very hard struggle doing that, not only for myself, but for the kids in general, because that's not how I grew up. That's not how anybody in our generation
Let me rephrase
grew
that
up.
one. That one's a little easier to figure out.
No, yeah,
and
you just
navigate.
stop doing the toxic
Right.
shit. I get what you're saying,
So
but
let me
it's
correct.
hard to break that mentality because you're told that's how you're supposed to raise kids.
Yeah.
From our generation, that's how we were supposed to raise kids.
Fear equaled respect when we were
And
growing up.
I subconsciously thought that. I didn't think I was doing that, but now with years under my belt
Hindsight's a son bitch.
and a 21 and a 19-year-old that luckily aren't afraid of me anymore,
Yeah.
I know that's not the case, and that I did end up doing the exact same thing that was done to me on a different scale or whatever, luckily. But
yes.
that doesn't take away from the fact that it fucked them up.
Yeah.
And definitely strained our relationship.
Unfortunately, when you're a parent, and this is another topic for another day, but I do want to just say something small about being a parent. We're always going to be wrong. No one gets out of childhood unscathed. Like, there's always going to be something that your parents do
Or don't do.
or don't do that fuck with you.
That one time they didn't show up or whatever.
Right.
Even if you have the best parents, everybody has that one story that they can point to, if nothing else.
Yes. But the only thing that you can do, going back to this topic, is talk about it. So if anyone ever comes to you and says, hey, you know, XYZ, when you do XYZ or when XYZ situation happens, it does not make me feel good. I would like for you to stop doing that. It does not make me feel good. It makes me scared. It makes me sad. It makes me mad, or whatever the case is. We need to be able to talk, because talking and so many people are like, talk is for pussies, and no one's going to understand me. No one's going to care. No one's going to do this.
And
no one's going to do
by
that.
and large, that's true. Because I've gone 41 fucking years with nobody giving a shit.
And that's fair. That's why there's licensed professionals.
You have seen it happen in my family where somebody asks me, how's it going? And I'm honest and I say, oh, I've been struggling. I had to get back on medication. I'm going to therapy again because I was having a really rough time, blah, 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 blah.
Whole
and then the conversation is completely different after that.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to express gratitude for something in a very sincere way because that's how I am. Mm-hmm. And then the topic changes again. That's what I grew up with.
People don't like to feel feelings.
And I'm not like that. I've never been like that. I'm the opposite. I like feeling feelings. I pretended like I didn't for a very long time to make everybody else comfortable while making myself uncomfortable. But I stopped giving a shit about that a long time ago.
Right.
But now it's even less. If I have something on my chest or something that I feel I need to express or what the fuck ever, I do it. And if you don't like it, that's on you. That's not on me. I don't give a shit. I'll make you uncomfortable all day because it's not making me uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's how I want people to behave with me. If you got something on your chest, say it.
Yeah.
A good, bad, or indifferent. I don't give a shit. If you feel compelled to do or say anything, do it. Like, I'm here for it. I'm not,
Right.
I'll sit down with you and have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it hasn't always been easy. to do that with you.
And I get that part too.
But you have changed so
but
much.
the people that say, well, I can't talk to you because of the way you react. Okay, what person are you talking about? Because that person, that older version of me, I would agree with that.
Or a split
But
version
how are
of
you going to give me credit for changing and making progress,
but still
and
not
then
talk to you?
Exactly. Like, okay, so which is it? Do you believe in me or do you not believe in me? Because if you don't believe in me, what the fuck are we
doing here?
Yeah, like if you are just saying all that shit to gas me up and make me feel better, I don't need that.
Yeah.
If you think I'm not progressing, fucking tell me that, because obviously I need to do something in order for that perception to be there, because that's how I feel that I am. I know I'm not the same person I was even 6 fucking months ago.
You're not.
And that should be the goal in my mind. Like, you shouldn't be the same person you were 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever. You should constantly be progressing. You should constantly be trying to figure out your shit and communicating it in order to better yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever.
Agreed. Because change is so scary. But to me, after all the therapy I've done, after everything that I've seen and changed and experienced, staying the same seems...
I hate being stagnant.
Way scarier than
like
changing.
I wasn't put here to work a 9 to 5 and just do it until I die.
Work to live, or live to work. You weren't born to work.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I do it because I want to have money and take care of you guys, like all that shit. Like that's why I do it. But it doesn't consume me.
Right.
Like it has the rest of my family. Their careers are fucking everything to them.
Yeah,
and I'm not like that. No. I've never been like that. I don't understand why we have to live in a capitalistic society. That's just me, though.
Yeah.
I do things as a means to an end, but I would much rather us be living in a fucking hippie commune doing all of that type of shit and meditating and going inward and trying to understand what all of this is.
Yes.
Like, that's how I've always been.
Yeah.
Because I've always seen something more. I've always wanted to see something more. And I've been told that I shouldn't do that. And I need to focus on the here and now. And I need to focus on my career and this, that, and the third. And like, all it did was make me fucking miserable because I was a workaholic at one point.
You were.
I didn't see my children because I would be out the door 9 times out of 10 before they even got up to go to school. And I wouldn't get home until they were already in bed.
Right.
And why? And I did that shit, what, up until Logan was born? Even a little after?
Yeah. And that one was a little more difficult because we only had one car, so I was in the car a lot. But outside of that, like, yeah. But I think that you hit on something. And I think that is the first step to really being an effective communicator, is looking inward. Being honest with yourself about what you do. Like, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I take everything so personally. But I do take things personally. One, because I do a lot, so when those things are attacked, I'm going to fucking... It's so hard for me not to take that personally. When my intelligence is... there's so much... There's stuff that it's like... It's hard for... And I need to work on it because how I think about myself and what somebody else says in any situation, what someone else says shouldn't matter. But I have a hard time with that because there are very few people that I actually care about what they think. And very few. The number is...
That number keeps dwindling.
Yes. And the number is as big as it is because we have 4 kids. So the number is automatically...
One of which has a significant other.
Yeah. So bare minimum, 5 to 6 people, or 6 people, because I do care about what you're thinking and what you have to say, but even in some instances, I may have to be like, yeah. So minimum 5 to 6 people off top, and that's a lot of people. A lot of people. But there's outside of my children and you, there's a handful.
Well, I mean, I can't even say that I'm able to worry about what the kids think sometimes. And it's not a disregard to how they feel.
You're right.
It's I can't worry about that because if I focus on that, it's going to destroy me.
It's going to derail everything.
Depending on what it is. So I just have to let it all go.
Yeah.
The only person I'm really worried about their perception of me is you. Because once the kids are all out of the fucking house, it's just going to be me and you. And I don't want to be that couple that realizes we fucking hate each other once it's just you and I.
Right. And I really don't think that's the case.
I don't think that's the case either because we make it a point to have conversations on a regular basis. Like, we talk all the time.
We do.
And, like, not even necessarily just about serious shit. We talk all the time about everything. We laugh together. We fucking watch baseball together, wrestling. Like, we pontificate about that shit. Like, there's so many things that we talk about that I couldn't imagine giving a shit about anybody else's opinion now.
Right.
That wasn't always my opinion. I always needed that validation from fucking everybody else.
Same. In different ways, I've needed or I've wanted
in every possible way. I have done that.
Yeah.
So,
again, kind of a lot of this is trauma based because we have
it's 100% trauma based.
Yeah, because we have
abandonment issues. So we think if we do this or if we act this way or if we talk to this person, that's going to fill the void in us somehow.
We want the people who we pick to pick us right back, and that's sadly not the case in the vast majority of relationships.
Well, it's not that. They'll pick you, but they'll pick you as a means to an end, and it serves their purposes.
Yeah, and that's
agreed.
But that's not. We want.
If that's what you're looking for, that's fine. If you're just looking for whatever like that, go for it. But that's not what I'm looking for. No. That's never been what I'm looking for. Right. Contrary to popular opinion and what people have said, I've always been the one that wanted this.
Yeah.
That wanted the deep connection, somebody that I could talk to about everything and not be made to feel insane or stupid or childish or whatever. Like, I like getting excited about shit.
Because I don't agree with everything you've talked about, but we can have a conversation.
I would feel some kind of way if you did. Like, that would be boring as fuck. I like having conversation.
Yeah.
You can't have conversation if the person you're talking to has the exact same opinion about everything.
Right.
And I don't trust people that pretend to have that. And
I'm just saying.
Whenever you realize that, it's just like, oh, you're just going along to get along. Mm-hmm. What's the end game?
People like that are trying to hide from themselves, but that's neither.
Or they legitimately don't know who they are.
And that's okay. Or what but you need to figure it out.
Actually like or whatever. They're just trying to be a chameleon and get everybody to fucking like them. And I know that because I did that. Anytime I would get into any circle, it was, oh yeah, da-da-da, and I would know everything about that thing and everybody would accept me and all that shit. And it's just like, I'm being fake right now because I really don't give a shit about this. Like, I don't give a shit about the mortgage industry, by and large. Like, for real,
yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I do it because I'm good at it. And I can make money at it. So I do that in order to provide for my family. I give a Frenchman's fuck about any of it.
Right.
Because if it came down to it, I'm smart enough and I'm resourceful enough, I could make money doing fucking anything.
That's fair.
That might sound egotistical, but I'm done being fucking humble about shit. Because me being humble has got me fuck all in life.
Yeah, and
I'm not cocky by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just finally starting to see my worth.
Yeah.
I have self-esteem for the first time in my life after 40.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous to say, first off. But
I get it.
It just, that's the way it is. Like, I I believe in myself now. And it's because of these conversations. It's because of you assuring me that, yeah, I understand that you fucked up, but I'm still here. And nobody's ever done that. It's always been, fuck you, get the fuck out of my face. Fuck you, bye. Or you're going back to your grandma's. Oh, I can't deal with this. You're going to your mom's. Like,
Yeah.
And, or not, just ignoring the shit.
Yeah.
Changing the subject. Like, I'm reaching out for some kind of conversation or guidance from my elders. And nothing.
Nada.
It's like, somebody literally has to die to get that.
And even then.
And it was there for a minute, but that goes away pretty fucking quick. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's upsetting to me because I'm not like that. I'm the guy that in my family, if I sit down, let's talk.
How you been? What's going on? How you feeling?
Like, oh shit, for real? Like, and it's not disingenuous. I legitimately care about what's going on in people's lives. Yeah. I legitimately care about what people are struggling with. Hey, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm a phone call away. That is it. Text me, whatever. I'm there. And I've always tried to be like that.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why that's difficult for the elder generation. Because it shouldn't be.
It's the same reason we parented initially the way they are too scared to
why
change.
Do you not have a want to do different whenever you see that the way things have gone are not good? And if you can't see that, you're fucking dumb.
I think it's a willful ignorance.
I don't understand willful ignorance. I've never understood that. I know it's a thing. I've seen it fucking happen. But I don't get it.
Yeah, once I know something, I can't unknow it, so why would I want to pretend like I don't know it? I struggle with that. And you know that. Excuse me. Because if I know something, I want everyone to know the same fucking information that I have. Not to necessarily make anyone else look bad, but just so everyone knows the fucking truth.
No, ma'am. Get down.
But everyone deserves to know the truth. And if that makes you look bad, then that's on you, not on me.
Should have done better. Like, and I don't have a problem with anybody telling the truth on me.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled about it all the fucking time, but don't make shit up. I did bad all on my fucking own. You ain't got to make shit up about it. If you tell the truth, I'll be like, yeah, that fucking happened.
Yeah. Because there's a difference
because of ABC or because I just fucked up because I'm not right sometimes.
That's fair. Because there is a big difference between telling the truth and someone looking bad and talking shit about someone to make someone look bad.
So many people don't see the difference.
Correct.
And it's just talking shit. No, I'm not talking shit. I'm talking about my experiences. Mm-hmm. If it makes you look bad and you feel some type of way about it, you should have done better.
Yeah.
Because I'm not making shit up. You can act like I'm making shit up all you want, but
I'm not.
I'm making a point to try not to lie.
Right.
And I'm not going to say I never fucking have. Obviously, I've had to keep things to myself in order to keep peace or whatever the situation is.
Right. I struggle with that.
I saw it happen so much, I knew I didn't know any other way at one point.
That's fair.
But now it's just like, no.
Then I'm a terrible liar.
See, I'm not. I'm pretty fucking gifted at it, unfucking fortunately.
I have so much anxiety about...
I don't like it. I don't like the way it makes me feel, but I can get away with it. And I don't like being able to say that.
That's fair.
You know, it's just... I've done so much sketch shit in my life that I had to get good at it.
That's fair.
And it's not a point of pride anymore. It was at one point. I can fucking get away with everything. I'm the fucking man. Like that type of shit. And then I've looked back at it and it's just...
cringy.
It's worse than cringy. It's disgusting to me.
That's fair.
Because why was I doing it?
No one's asked you a lot of questions that I've asked you. You're like, wow.
I still don't have an answer for that fucking one.
And that's
still
fair.
to this day.
That's
and that
fair.
was months ago.
That was a bit ago. But.
And that's saying something because I am so introspective and so, like, constantly taking self-inventory and all of that stuff.
And I even struggle to ask questions because questions growing up, you're being combative, you're arguing, you're talking back. So I try not to even ask questions.
I got the same thing, and that's why I don't give a shit. Ask the fucking questions because maybe it'll trigger something in me.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I love listening to podcasts so much and about so much random shit. Because it triggers something, and then we'll have a fucking hour-long conversation about whatever it is, and just like, what if, and just like start going on all these different tangents. I fucking love that.
And it's so funny because it's not from one type of podcast, because we've listened to everything from comics podcasts to
Doctors,
metaphysicists,
fucking Joe Rogan
and motivational people like Mel Robbins and Mayim. I don't know if she's
sports podcast, The Pivot.
Oh, that's so Channing.
We've even had conversations based on fucking Not Sam.
Oh, Not Sam.
Like
Sam Roberts
we've had conversations from everything.
Yes.
And some thought-provoking shit. I mean, some of the wrestling shit is mindless stuff, don't get me wrong, but we've deep dived into like psychology based on conversations we've had about pro wrestling.
Agreed.
Just like, well, no, you got to look at it like this, and you got to and if they do this, then they're going this way, and if they do this, they're going this way, and then you see it play out real time, and it's just like,
look at that shit. But I think that is one of the biggest reasons why I really don't think like the kids are going to graduate and be like, I don't like you as a person. Oh, I don't like you as a person. No, I don't think that's going to happen because I like you as a person and you like me as a person.
No, yeah, I'm just saying that's always been my fear because you see that happen so fucking
definitely.
much.
But
and then you see people that before that point, you could tell they don't fucking like each other. Like, what are you doing? Why are you going to spend your life together fucking miserable?
I don't know.
I don't understand that. And I say that as a person who did that, who kept himself miserable in order to maintain some semblance of...
You were trying to be a nice guy.
It wasn't trying to be a nice guy. I was trying to do the right thing, quote unquote. What I'm told I'm supposed to be. You're not supposed to get divorced. You're not supposed to have more than one baby mama and all this fucking bullshit. And just like, no, that's why divorce exists. To where if you're not happy, I'm not happy, she wasn't happy, I'm just the one that pulled the fucking trigger. That's it.
That's fair.
And it just, I don't get that. And both of us, both of us were of the opinion and never said it out loud that we were just going to do this no matter what. And then I hit a fucking brick wall.
That's fair.
Certain times things get said that you can't take back. Mm-hmm. And it hit that point. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm afraid of with us. That one time I'm going to split and then that's going to be it. And that's why I'm so deathly afraid of splitting.
I get that. And I understand where you're coming from. And yes, it does hurt. And yes, there are things where it's like, you can't take that back. You can't. You said what you said with your whole fucking chest.
I can't unfuck the maid. I'm sorry. We talked about that yesterday.
Yes, we did.
That's my favorite phrase whenever it comes to that stuff.
And even that, like, kind of scares me because I don't want you to hold in something. I don't want you to split and say outlandish shit.
But that's why I try to make an active, like, make it part of my routine to talk to you. That way, the little things that bother me don't build up like they did before.
Right.
And it forces me to split.
Right. Because higher stress.
I'm not holding shit in anymore.
Right.
I might take a minute and try to, like, yesterday.
Right.
You know, I was stressed out because you couldn't help me move the couches and shit like that. It wasn't mad at you.
It was the situation.
It was the situation. I was frustrated because I just wanted to get the shit done.
Right.
And I felt it coming. And I was just like, no, just leave it alone. And to your credit, you did just that. You backed off and just left it alone. And then once everything got handled, it was fine. And I apologized.
Right.
Because I knew, somewhere in my head, I knew that I was being fucking ridiculous by being upset about it. So I think that's progress. But
it is.
I don't know.
It is.
And it just, I'm trying to be aware of things like that now. And communicate, hey, just give me a minute, leave it alone, and it'll be fine. Because it's usually said a little bit more aggressively than that, but
it does seem that if you are more aware that you are becoming triggered, not necessarily what the trigger is, but you're being aware.
Like yesterday, I knew what the trigger was.
Well, yeah.
Shit wasn't going the way that I wanted to, and I was like, motherfucker. And
yes, but there are times where the trigger happens and you don't know exactly where it's coming from.
That's the difference. I'm trying to pay attention to it now.
Oh, well, yes, but just being more aware of your body.
Because the last split I had, I know what the trigger was. It was, I didn't want to do anything, and I felt pressured to do something because I had been running myself ragged with work.
Yes.
And all I wanted to do was nothing.
Right. And I asked if you wanted to do
and
something.
It wasn't you forcing me to do anything or anything like that, but for some reason that was the click that's like, you can't have peace, you can't have calm, you can't just sit on your ass and do nothing. You have to constantly be in motion, you have to constantly do for everybody else, and da-da-da-da-da.
And it wasn't that.
It wasn't. I know it wasn't that logically.
Right.
But in that moment, that's where my head went.
That trigger happens, and then it's...
I can't get any peace. I can't get any time to myself. I can't do what I want to do. I have to do what everybody else wants me to do. And then that turns into everything from my teenage years and my 20s and like everything. It just, and I fucking snapped.
Right.
I'm not proud of it, but I can at least trace where it is where it started and where it's coming from now. Like my early splits, whenever you and I first got together, it was because of prior relationships. And it was blatantly obvious that it was prior relationships, and I didn't put the shit together.
I think it's always been that way. Even in your most recent ones. I think...
Oh, no, I'm not arguing that, but I know that it's not just that. Like, I go back to, like, my teenage years sometimes.
Okay.
That have nothing to do with relationships, or, like, me being a kid and not having a choice or not having a voice because I'm told to sit down and shut up type shit, and it just, that infuriates me to this day.
Yes.
Because I don't tell my kids, sit down and shut up. What I always told the kids is, mouth shut, ears open, you might learn something.
Yes.
And I tried to frame it like that because... maybe this is a learning experience. You being around adults, hearing adults talk, that's fine. I'm not telling you not to interject, but focus on listening instead of talking.
Right.
So I try to paint it in a positive way instead of a sit down and shut up. Kids are supposed to be seen, not heard.
Yeah, it's never been that.
I fucking hate that.
Yeah. It's... speaking is easy. Mm-hmm. Like actually just saying words.
But having conversations
and having understanding on both sides
is not simple.
No, it's not, because of everything that we've talked about. Taking things personally, taking things as an attack, or if someone were to say that something you did or said affected them, then that makes you a bad person. And it's like, you are not your actions. And
I mean, sometimes you become your fucking actions.
That's fair.
Because if you keep repeating the same cycles over and over and over again,
at what point is it
it's a choice.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that because I know how callous it sounds, but I'm that person. I repeated cycles over and over and over again.
You did.
Until somebody just asked me a simple question.
It's like, hey.
And then...
And it was over a decade of us being together. That I was like, maybe I should ask
And you
this.
never thought to ask that fucking question? Nope. I never thought about the motivation as to why.
Yeah.
And it just... It unlocked something in my fucking brain. Like, why do you do that? And I still don't have a fucking answer. I mean, you could speculate.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's dots you could connect, obviously, but realistically, I don't know why.
And that's okay. But
see, for somebody that likes to have all the information, no, it's not.
Fair. And maybe one day it'll make sense and
it does kind of make sense, but it's like everything else with the BPD stuff. I don't understand it. I don't understand why it happens. I don't understand exactly where it comes from or why my brain chemistry is like this, why I had no impulse control. You know, and that's why I'm trying now to focus on that part of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do with my smoking and my drinking. Because I would always use smoking as a crutch whenever I got fucking stressed out. Mm-hmm. And I won't let myself smoke now.
Right.
Because in my head, if I can control that, and that was the toughest fucking monkey to shake off my back, I can handle the rest of it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But...
Because I give a fuck about drinking. I haven't given a fuck about drinking.
Yeah.
Even when I was drinking, I didn't give a fuck about it.
Like, hearing about other people being drunk right now, like...
And it's our kids, so it's just... But they're 20s. Like,
yes.
They're figuring the shit out for themselves. I'm trying not to preach at them because nobody could have told me shit at their age.
And that's fair. And the only thing that I've really said is to, like, just be careful because everything that you hate in alcohol and everything that you've hated that comes from alcohol, conversations, whatever it is, you are capable of doing that while
just
you are
because
drunk.
You don't do it now doesn't mean it won't fucking happen. Yes. Because there was a lot of things I didn't think I was going to do.
So I think that's really the only thing that I've been like, hey, just kind of be careful of that.
They're also way more responsible than we were at their fucking age.
But I also recognize that they're still young adults and they may fuck up and mistakes are going to happen and they're human.
That's fine. They need to know that part is okay.
Right.
You have to also take precautions to have the fuck up not be something you can't come back from.
Right. Because there are permanent
consequences for some of this shit.
Yeah. And it's, again, we've had conversations with them. We've talked about stuff.
But see, I was told that I was wrong for putting everything out on Front Street with my kids. And I disagree.
It might be in some ways.
But I still disagree because they had information. I didn't have information whenever I was a kid because nobody was going through nobody in my family went through the shit that I went through. Emotionally, physically, or even just in society.
Right.
Because it was a different time. And like, it was
a different time.
Completely fucking different. Right. My hands could get on fucking anything I wanted.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have that. But they had to worry about reefer madness and shit like that. And it's just like, that's not the same thing. Pot was like the thing you did to just like chill.
You were a burnout.
Like, yeah, no, like I had my hands on serious shit that nowadays would probably kill me with the way everything's gone.
Same.
With fucking fentanyl and all that shit. Like, I'd probably be dead. If I was living now and doing the same shit that I was as a kid, I'd be fucking dead.
100% you would be. And I hate to say it that, like 100%.
But it's true, but
like,
our kids didn't do that. Our kids didn't do that because they had the stories from me, from you, from Gabriel. Like, we put our shit out there and like, this is a bad fucking idea.
Right.
Because of XYZ.
Yeah.
And we were honest with them. If you're going to do this type of shit, and we said to stay with the natural stuff because you know it's natural.
Stay away from alcohol as much as possible because it's a poison.
It's horrible for you.
Yeah.
And all of us agreed on that.
Yeah.
I think they didn't make those same decisions because they knew what
there was could
happen.
Some previous knowledge of mistakes made by other people. They were like, I'm not going to do that
not
shit.
some random fucking person showing up from Dare or what the fuck ever telling us,
parents.
Oh, you're going to do cocaine and you're going to die. Like, I can tell you that's not true.
No, not true. I know lots of people have done coke.
I've seen it happen up close and personal. Like
with your own face.
I think that's why I have a deviated septum to this day.
The fucked up thing is that I have a severely deviated septum, and I've never done it. So, anyway.
But regardless, it's like, so where do you draw the line? I think that's communication kept my kids from doing a lot of dumb shit.
I think that's probably
some would argue
true.
It was the fear as well, and even if that's the case, okay, maybe that served its purpose too. And like I'm not proud of it, but right. If I became their evil Jiminy Cricket in their fucking head to keep them from doing
dumb shit
and making the same mistakes that I did as a kid,
it's kind of
like that's how I have to look at it now,
right? Because
if I don't, it's not going to go well.
Yeah,
and I'm tired of not going well.
That's fair.
I want better. I want to be happy. I want to believe in myself again. And I'm working on that.
Yes, you are.
And again, the only reason that's able to happen is because of the conversations we have. And I know I'm supported.
You are.
And that's all I've ever wanted.
Because things get difficult. Life gets difficult. Especially when we're dealing with a mental illness that is very can be very explosive. But that's why communication, honest, open communication and understanding comes into play, because understanding is part of communication. So with that being said, I just want to say right out loud, I am very proud of you for all the work that you've done and where you were and where you've come, or how far you've come. I am very proud of you for that, because this shit, just normal communication, is hard, and dealing with an undiagnosed mental illness of most likely BPD, that can't make it easier. So, and trying to figure it out and not knowing it even existed until a couple years ago. It's like, I can understand why.
Meanwhile, the book that I'm fucking reading was written in fucking 1986.
Right.
Like, goddamn.
Right.
And that's what irks me. It's like, if I had found out about this shit
way earlier, you could have been combating it this whole time.
I could have had more tools or a better understanding of myself and not felt like I was batshit crazy my entire life, or that I was never going to be anything more than the loose cannon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
But that's why we talk. That's why we have communication. That's why we have understanding. And that's why it's so important for everyone else to do that. And I know it sounds so easy. Listen, communicate, understand.
Learn.
But that also means you have to understand yourself. You have to be honest with yourself about how you react and about how you handle things, because that plays into how you communicate. So everyone needs to take personal inventory. Everyone needs to take a deep dive into themselves, not about what everyone else is doing, not with what everyone else is supposed to be doing or what's going on. I know the world is fucking on fire right now, especially under, I'm going to call it the regime that we're under right now. And everything is very scary. And the only thing that has made it easier is figuring out how I manage myself in the world and what I can do differently. So yes, we need compassion and understanding and communication from all people, but we also need to do that with ourselves. And it's not easy and it's not fun, but you're not alone in that journey. everyone needs to do it. And there are people that have done it. And one of my gratitudes every night is I'm grateful that we have done and will continue to do the work for ourselves and each other. And I hope and I put it out there that everyone starts doing it as well, because I think the world would be a much better place if
And we started doing gratitudes because of a wrestling podcast. It was Van Vliet.
Oh, it was. Was that the reason?
Mm-hmm. That's why we started doing it. Because that was the straw that broke the camel's back, as it was. Because we had heard a lot about gratitude, and then Chris was talking about he does this every night with his wife
and
before
then
they go to
passed,
bed.
And then it just
and
kind
then
of
it just
fit in.
Yep.
That's right.
So we started doing it because of a wrestling podcast.
Yes, that is true. But just know that you're not alone. If you are struggling, reach out. And to anyone that you trust. And if you don't feel like you have anybody, reach out to us. There are resources and hotlines that you can call. Just because it's a paid professional doesn't mean that they don't care about your well-being. If just reach out, because it's...
And people don't get that job because they don't care.
Right.
Like they wouldn't get hired if it was just a job to them.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But just know that even though this is hard work, it can be done. It can be accomplished. It can be easier. These are not autonomic things. These are not something you're born with. These are skills that you have to learn and navigate and grow and build your skills. So start building your communication skills, because it'll help humanity. and I that sounds grandiose, and
if
like I'm exaggerating.
Everybody figured out how to communicate.
I'm telling you, the world
that would
change.
solve a lot of fucking problems.
The world would change. But now that I've said that, until next time, do all of the social media stuff. Share, subscribe, like. If, like I said just a minute ago, if you feel like you need someone to talk to and you feel like you don't have anybody to reach out to us, because I'll sit and talk. I don't mind. If you, I've done it before. Random people in Ireland. Just saying. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. Come back. I know that we have been gone for a while, but we will do better. And just keep taking care of yourselves out there. This fucking world is hard. Don't make it harder. Love you. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you like this episode or know someone who would, please help us grow the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Keep up with all episodes on Buzzsprout or anywhere else you get your podcasts.